This week on Raw Nutmeg, getting hooked on one of Connecticut's hidden hotspots.
This is my favorite lake as far as the quality of fish goes. We have a lot of big fish in this lake.
This year's tomato season is downright rotten.
Phyto means plant, Thora is destroyer.
And setting your sights on the fall turkey season. Welcome to Raw Nutmeg. I'm John Charlton, and this week we're coming to you from one of the greatest lookouts in all of Connecticut, Castle Craig in Meriden. It soars about 1,000 feet above the Silver City. Today, I'm the king of the castle. Now here on a clear day, you can see as far south as the Long Island Sound, and to the north, the Berkshires. We'll have a little bit more on Castle Craig a little bit later, but first, we'll take you down to Connecticut's shoreline. Now tucked away along I-95 in Branford, Lake Saltonstall is home to some of the best freshwater fishing the state has to offer.
It's quiet.
Yeah, that's what's nice about electric motors.
But as we quickly found out, quiet is just how they like it. On Lake Saltonstall, gas motors are prohibited. Jet skiers, don't even think about it. And if you're wondering where the summer cottages are, not here.
This is a reservoir,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's a usable reservoir.
Therefore, only electric motors on the lake.
Yeah, no swimming, no wading.
That's Joe Coaches. He's the recreational crew leader at Lake Saltonstall. The Central Connecticut Regional Water Authority manages the lake. And if you want to fish, Joe's your man.
Now, this is my favorite lake as far as the quality of fish goes. We have a lot of big fish in this lake. We fish these weed lines right over in here.
So you know all the good spots.
I caught a 9 1/4 pound largemouth out of here
Really?
2 years ago.
What'd you do with that?
I let it go.
We're fishing for bass right now, but there's walleye in here.
There's walleye, there's crappie, there's bluegills, there's white perch, yellow perch, carp. We have some giant carp in here.
Just in case you weren't listening, Joe said walleye. One of the few places in Connecticut to catch it because Lake Saltonstall offers the one thing these fish love, a long way to the bottom.
Right out in there, it's 119 feet of water.
But back to bass.
Now, I'm using what they call a buzzbait. It's got what I call helicopter blades. It spins, there's a little rattle right here that it hits. Makes a lot of noise in the water and attracts the fish.
I think I may have gotten one. Do I have a fish? Oh, no. Maybe I'm the wrong guy for this job.
This is a tough lake to fish. You got to get to learn the lake. Once you learn the lake, then it's you'll love it.
When is the best time of year to be bass fishing? I mean, in the summer, all summer long? Or?
Early spring is good. Summer is tough fishing.
Early spring, well, that was never any good with my seasons anyway.
I'm not surprised. It's tough. Like I said, you got to work for your fish.
But on this day, the bass weren't biting, so it was on to plan B.
That's what I'm going to do, troll.
We could do that. Here. We want to do a little trolling? We'll do it. Let's see if we pick up a walleye.
Now we're walleye fishing. Trolling and walleye fishing.
Walleye used to be a stock fish in Connecticut. Then they disappeared. And the state started reintroducing them.
Yeah.
And this is one of the lakes they picked to reintroduce them with.
Okay, so the walleye weren't hungry either. But before we called it a day, I put my faith in one last cast.
I think I did.
He probably got you in the weeds. Pull up and reel down. Yeah, you got one.
I got one. It's in the weeds, but I got one. No, maybe not.
You lost him.
I lost him? Son of a... Yeah!
All right, I didn't catch anything, but I do believe I got a couple bites. And I got to thank Joe for a wonderful time on Lake Saltonstall. Awesome experience, definitely very calming. Joe does say, however, that the fish really start biting when fall rolls around. Now, of course, before you go fishing, you need to get a license. But there's no more waiting in line. You can get yours online. Just go to our website, fox61.com/rawnutmeg. You'll find all the information you need right there. And while we're talking about licenses, if you plan on fishing Connecticut's coastal waters, it'll cost you. This year, lawmakers passed a bill requiring anglers to get a license to fish Long Island Sound. And that license costs $10. All right, everywhere you turn in Connecticut, there's definitely something to explore, whether it be on the water fishing or on the trails hiking through the woods. We like to call these places Hidden Connecticut. This week, Hartford Courant reporter Peter Marteka explores Rocky Hill, a town named after, you guessed it, a rocky hill.
Thanks, John. We're here at Quarry Park on the outer edges of Rocky Hill's Old Main Street, and this is actually the area where the town receives its name, Rocky Hill. So come on with us and let's explore. There's about 2 or 3 miles of trails in Quarry Park. Rocky Hill itself is a trap rock ridge created by volcanoes way back in geological time. And they used the trap rock here, they quarried it for building of I-91 and the Veterans Home in Rocky Hill, various other projects that needed a ton of gravel. So here we are on top of Rocky Hill with nice views of Glastonbury, Wethersfield, parts of Portland and the surrounding hillsides. A lot of agriculture in the great meadows across the way, hay fields and farm fields. This is the kind of rock that was produced, they can mix it in with the concrete and provide a pretty good concrete mix. The side trail takes you up to a little mini ridge and you can see pretty commanding panoramic view of Hartford. See the Capitol Dome glowing, reflecting off the sun.
And later on in the show, from food to fire starters, the 10 essentials experts say you'll need to take with you on any hike. Now, if there's somewhere hidden in Connecticut you'd like us to explore, send us an email at rawnutmeg@fox61.com. We'd love to make the trip. Now, don't go anywhere. There's much more ahead on Raw Nutmeg. Target practice. Before the bullets fly, we're getting our shotgun ready for turkey hunting season. Plus, the vine far from fine. Why farmers and backyard gardeners in Connecticut are in danger of losing their juicy tomatoes. But before we take a break, this week's trivia question is, what is Connecticut's state animal? Here's a hint. This animal is on the endangered species list. We'll have the answer after the break. Before the break, we asked you, what is Connecticut's state animal? The answer is huge, the sperm whale. The mammal was designated our state animal back in 1975 because of the state's history in the whaling industry. Ironically, that industry is a big reason why the sperm whale is hard to spot these days and why it's currently an endangered species. You love them in your salad, you need them for your spaghetti sauce. We're talking about tomatoes here, but Raw Nutmeg's Lori Perez explains how all the rain helped a pesky fungus stick around and practically wipe out the local tomato crop.
The ones that really gross people out.
When scientists named late blight and its fast-growing brown spots, they weren't fooling around. Phytophthora infestans says, in Latin, all that needs to be said.
Phyto means plant, and Thora is destroyer. So it's a plant destroyer.
And Dr. Sharon Douglas says you better believe it's destroying. The state has confirmed late blight in 6 of the state's 8 counties, the most widespread showing in decades. The fungus-like condition is not harmful to humans, but it'll kill plants quickly. So if you see brown spots or white downy mold, pull the plant fast and throw it out. Late blight will take over your garden plants with thousands of infected spores that get dislodged by rain, picked up by wind, and then passed to every tomato or potato crop in sight.
So if you have an infection in one backyard garden, that infection could potentially spread, the pathogen can potentially spread to commercial fields or other backyard gardens within a several-mile radius.
The Current says at least one commercial farmer has lost 6,000 to 8,000 tomato plants, but here at the Connecticut Ag Experiment Station, it's backyard gardeners inundating the office with infected plants. That's because experts say the disease came into the state through plants sold to hobby gardeners at those big box stores.
The good news is, she says, late blight won't survive the winter, at least not with tomatoes.
The other thing working with late blight this season has been the weather. Cool, wet conditions ripe for growing disease, but even without late blight, not for tomatoes. Always popular at farmers markets like this one in Hamden, tomatoes are in great demand, but short supply.
It's been kind of average. It's not been all that great, but you know, we get what we can get.
For Raw Nutmeg, I'm Lori Perez.
For more on identifying late blight and ways to avoid it, go to fox61.com/raw nutmeg. In the meantime, if you'd like to share pictures or some of your secrets to great gardening or anything else on the show for that matter, hit us up on Twitter or Facebook. Wild turkeys may be big birds, but they're very elusive and cunning. That's why hunting them is not a sure-shot way to land your main course for Thanksgiving. We take you now to Cabela's in East Hartford, where they will help you not choke when you got a big bird like a turkey in your sights. Well, we're here at the rifle counter here at Cabela's, and across from me is Mr. Avery, Jack Avery. I guess they call you the big turkey here at Cabela's, is that right?
I got elected to be a turkey, yes.
So you're going to get us ready for turkey season.
We're going to be hunting with shotgun, which is the preferred method in Connecticut. And we have quite a selection of shotguns that would work for you. We're going to fix you up with a gun that'll fit you and it'll do what you want it to do.
This is an important accessory, the choke.
Absolutely.
So kind of explain what the choke does. It
Okay.
kind of funnels things, doesn't it?
We have different chokes for different purposes. What a choke does, it fits into the end of the muzzle on the shotgun, and it controls how wide a pattern you get with the shot once it comes out of the gun. If you have an open choke like this one, this is an improved cylinder, so it's a fairly wide open choke. For short range, it's going to spread the shot pattern out, and if you were hunting, say, pheasants flying, he's going fast, not too far away, it's a good choice. When you're hunting turkeys, it's different because the turkey is not flying. He's going to be standing still. He's going to present you a non-moving target, and you have time to aim very precisely. You also might be shooting him a longer distance out. So you go with a turkey choke. This is a super full. You want a very tight restriction. It's a smaller diameter inside than the first one, and the effective range on this particular choke might be 40 to 50 yards, maybe a little farther. The first one we looked at, the effective range on a turkey would probably be 20 or 25 yards, and that would be it. So we want to have a tight choke. We don't want to damage the turkey meat in any way. We want to put the turkey down one quick shot. You're going to do a lot of work to get that shot. You want it to work for you.
I guess next step now is to go to the range.
Go see how it shoots.
We're going to Wolf.
We're going to Wolf's in Bristol.
All right, we're here at Wolf's Indoor Range in Bristol, and back here with Jack.
Yes, we are.
And I got to make a note here that usually they don't allow shotguns in this range, but for us they made an exception. Jack?
We're special today.
We are special today, thankfully. And you're going to show us how to sight a
We're
shotgun?
going to pattern a shotgun to
Pattern
see what type of choke you need for hunting turkeys. This yellow that you have on here represents the kill zone on the turkey. And to be effective in killing a turkey, you need to hit that yellow zone with probably 4 to 5 pellets. So we're going to try this at a couple different ranges.
You got specks all over the place, but most of it is centralized. Looks like
It is. If we looked at the kill zone on this bird, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's enough to kill that bird. Unfortunately, the ones down here are enough to ruin the meat because this is where the breast meat is, right down in here. We still got enough to kill the bird, but we're just obliterating the breast meat down here. All the good parts of that bird that you actually shot him for, we're just totally ruining it.
it's a time for a better choke.
It's time for a better choke. Let's move up a notch. Well, you see, this turkey's in deep trouble. I can't count the holes in the kill zone on this one. What I can do is count the bullets that are not down in the breast.
And that's the important part.
25 yards, we've got 1, 2 in the breast meat. That's it. Everything else is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 12 right there that killed that bird.
One shot.
But you didn't hurt that breast meat at all. The breast meat's fine, so that's good.
All right, well, one shot almost in the kill zone, right?
Well, you only had about 250 BBs in there, so that's better than none.
No breast meat was...
No breast meat was damaged. The bird will live to fight another day.
All right, Jack, thank you very much.
Thank
you very much to Cabela's and, of course, Wolf Indoor Shooting Range. It's a great time out here.
It was.
Coming up on Raw Nutmeg, the 10 things you can't leave home without before going hiking. Hiking is a great way to reconnect with nature, but all too often we hear stories about hikers getting hurt or lost in the woods. Before that happens again, REI of West Hartford shows us what can help a hiker in trouble survive until help arrives.
Thanks, John. I'm Tina Short and I'm with REI. Today we're going to talk about the 10 essentials of hiking. First and foremost, you need to decide where it is you're going to go. Grab your map, compass, and perhaps a GPS. Put it in your bag. Next, you're going to want clothing, food, and water. Depending on where you're hiking, the weather can change, so you want to bring different layers. Today I'm packing a fleece and a raincoat in case we get caught in a storm. Food and water are important because you're going to burn off energy. You can also take along some potable aqua, which are tablets that you can drop in to some natural water from a stream. A first aid kit. A small first aid kit is always a great thing to have. You never know what's going to happen when you're on the trail. Your first aid kit can include things like Band-Aids, tape, tweezers, gauze, or an emergency poncho. Sunscreen is also very important. You don't want to get sunburned. I'm also taking along a fire starter. I've got matches that are waterproof inside a container which is also waterproof. A small tool that's going to help me do a variety of things serves as a knife, scissors, whatever it is I need, and a headlamp. Last but not least, we have an emergency whistle. And this emergency whistle is on my pack. And remember, hiking is about having fun. Be prepared so you can come home.
As you already know, Raw Nutmeg is coming to you this week from Castle Craig in Meriden. Industrialist Walter Hubbard dedicated the tower in 1900. It claims to be the highest point within 25 miles of the U.S.'s entire East Coast. Inspiration for the tower's design has been debated. Some say it resembles an ancient Scottish tower, while others believe it was built to look like a Norman French tower, or even a 12th century Turkish tower positioned on the Danube River. Thanks for joining us this week on Raw Nutmeg right here at Castle Craig in Meriden. Be sure to return next week for more great outdoor adventure.